about negotiations, right? Politics.
And we're out of time. So you.
Hey, y'all, gravity. Any day above ground, live it. Hopefully you had a fantastic holiday weekend. We back on it. We less than 65 days. And then this storm will pass. And then it'll be fun again. But today we're going to talk about something serious. We're going to talk about reparations. I know it's been a while since we talked about it. So today we're going to do a little bit of out of the box thinking. We're all going to be problem solvers today, because apparently California don't like it when we try to solve problems. And they said, nah, we understand what you want. We for it. But you know what? We don't want to give you the money to finish the mission. So let's try some out of the box thinking. Everybody can participate in this, even people who sit up there in the comments and say that this ain't no viable option because they didn't think of it. But that's okay. We enjoy all the discourse. Because see, unlike y'all, I actually give a damn about the people, and I actually want to see Black people succeed. So any way we can figure this out, we're gonna figure this out. Because all the other folks figure out the way to circumvent things and try to get their stuff. So let's do that. Because God forbid everything else we do straight up and down don't work. So we're going to play problem solver today. We're going to take Negroes back to school. I know a lot of y'all are over school, but you know, we got to show the best the examples. But before we start, who's in the building? Yes, sir. We understand this, my brother's keeper, and that's fine. We don't care, though. We're going to do what's best for Black people. So that's fine. You don't think the UN can do it? Cool. I say there's a way to do it. Maybe you'll agree with it, maybe you won't. Who cares? But thank you for coming anyway. Pause. Wallow J, hello. Cosmo Fury, hello. Sybil, hello. William Morant, hello. Look, he left another comment. I didn't even see this one. I know the answer. You don't know the answer because you never explored it. But we'll explore it today. But again, thank you for coming. Pause. Travis Daniels, hello. Judas June McCoud, hello. Miss Nisi, hello. Late Not Last, hello. DSB, thank you for becoming a member for 17 months. That's a blessing. And for those who don't know, when you become a member, or you let us know how long you've been a member, or you give us a super chat or a super sticker, we tell you how much of a blessing that is. And you get this here. All right, we continue. Oh, and say hi to Rumble and Kick as well. Miss Nisi, good afternoon. Black Lights, good afternoon. You streaming bastard, you. I have to catch you. I have to catch you. But that's okay. Welcome, brother. Sunkissed by the Most High, hello. Don P, hello. Curly Girl, hello. Casey Malone, hello. And for those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, hello. Yes, B. He's already putting money in the baby's fund. We like it. We like it a lot. That's a blessing. And you get this here.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose, such as criticism, commenting, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
All right, we got the house cleaning out of the way. Miss Nisi already said the baby got to get something after Labor Day. She saved 17 cents for not buying hot dogs at the cookout. That's a blessing. And you get this here. All right. I think we've got everything. More people. Let me go with Cardenas. Hello. All right. I think we're good now. All right, let's begin. I'm going to make you mad before we start, but we need context. Now, I was in a Twitter space Saturday night while I was at work. Don't tell my boss. I don't care. Anyway, I heard something. I think her name was Jonelle Sanders. I think it is Jonelle Sanders. You can probably find her on that. She hosted a space, and she alluded to something that I heard Marcel say, something called the U.S. Judgment Fund. And whenever the U.S. gets sued and they lose, that's the fund they pay it out of. And couple that with what Marcel said a couple years ago about bonds that America holds. That's the way y'all can get y'all's reparations. But we have to get to that point. So I said, since California want to play around, Evanston was a nothing burger. Oakland ain't doing nothing. New York starting theirs, which I don't think they can't even get the committee together. Atlanta has one. It's far along, but it's Georgia. It's Republican. I ain't sure. I said, okay, let's do a little bit of out of the box thinking. Because for this to work, we're going to have to go to the ICJ. The ICJ is underneath the UN, the United Nations. So I said, is there precedent for the United Nations to help in this claim? I might have a solution, but again, this is all hypothesis. May work, may not work. It's all hypothesis. But like I said, I got to piss you off first because we always got to keep y'all abreast and focused, laser focused on the mission. So I'm going to show you something that shows some people already got stuff, but let the U.S. tell it. And the citizenry that's against this, the U.S. shouldn't pay off nothing. Now they're running around saying that they should stop all handouts, which we already understand that they don't know what they're talking about, because if that happened, let's just close the whole welfare system down. There's only about 23% of black folks that are going to be affected. We can take care of them. 47% of white folks would be in trouble. That's damn near half their population. I don't think they want that. Unless you want them white suburban neighborhoods to look like Owsley County, Kentucky, with the familicide rates jumping. I mean, y'all do your thing. We'll back you. We'll back you. But again, we got to make you mad first. Keep you laser focused.
Let me go here. There's a growing concern.
We all know what this is. The Civil Liberties Act of 1988. This is a law that gave Japanese Americans who were interned in World War II reparations. Almost 83,000, I believe. Yeah, almost 83,000 people got $20,000. Which added up to about 1.6 billion. Got to keep your laser focused. Now, this was signed into act in 1988. And August 4th, 1988. Reagan signed it August 10th, 1988. They didn't start cutting the checks till 1990. And the last payment, I believe, was 1993. So 3 years. 82,219 Japanese Americans got reparations. So there's precedent. They debated it. It came into law. Now, they've spent 40 years doing this. So according to y'all have been on this journey for about 100 something years, maybe almost 200. So there's already precedent, and we already know what y'all say. The interest goes up. A year they deny it, interest goes up. So since the US doesn't want to do it, I said, let me do a little bit of research. Now, y'all know I played Shahid Bolson on here before, but his main thing is, now again, I don't agree with everything he said, especially with the fact that Black people should join up with the brown people across Latin America and Asia and Africa and go after the West. You should have sang that tune about 5 years ago. Black America's got their own problems. They got to find their own solutions. The Pan-African thing, the Black and brown, that don't work. That's already persona non grata, but you know, that's another subject for another day. We're not going to go there. Not today. He's advocating for Article 6 to be issued. So you ask yourself, you might not know this, but you ask, what the hell is Article 6 of the UN Charter? Well, we're going to tell you. Again, this is a hypothesis show. This is no definitive solutions. I've already told y'all that before, but we know we're going to have people that are going to come in here and think that I'm telling them this is the actual solution. It's not, but it could be a way in. But let's see.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
So it says Article 6. This is underneath their chapter on membership. Now, for those who don't know, the U.S. is a permanent member of the UN, and it's also a member of the UN Security Council. Now, it says here under Article 6, a member of the United Nations who has persistently violated the principles contained in the present charter may be expelled from the organization by the General Assembly upon the recommendation of the Security Council. Now, that's where the problem lies. Considering that they're on the Security Council, you would need a 3/5 vote between the other 4 nations, and we already know the United States is going to say no. So you're going to need at least 3 nations to say, yeah, you got to go. You got to get off the Security Council. So that's the task that we look at. The UN would have to sit up there and make a compelling case that the US is creating atrocities around the world, which we already know they're doing that. But who has the balls to bring it up? And do the other 4 nations have the balls enough to tell the US, you got to get off the Security Council and address this? So that's the way to get in. Again, it's going to be a tall order because, you know, situations. So we're going to listen to Mr. Bolson explain more in detail about Article 6 and see if there's anything we can glean out of it that we can use in some way to present a case to the UN.
Article 6 is an article in the United Nations Charter, which allows for any member of the United Nations to be expelled as a member from the United Nations if they are found to have been persistently violating the principles and values of the Charter. And I think objectively speaking, we can't say that there's any member of the United Nations that has done that more persistently than the United States. So there's every reason and every justification for invoking Article 6 against the United States. Now, there's the obvious question. The most obvious and first question that would come up is that the United States would instantly veto any such vote to invoke Article 6 against them. However, the charter also prohibits the United States from voting in any action, any suggested action that involves them. So that
That's important. That's important. Because you know how the U.S. is. They're going to start throwing money around to make sure that they can't vote against themselves. That's why I said before, they would say no. They won't even try to let it get to that vote, but, you know, they won't listen. So let's see. So they would be out of the General Assembly vote, and they would be out of that Security Council vote. So since there's only 5 members, they'd have to hope to God they get a deadlock or a ruling in their favor, or they're in trouble. But let's let them continue.
they must abstain according to the protocols of the United Nations. So they won't have a vote in that, even on the Security Council. Now, on the Security Council, the 2 countries that are the most likely to support the United States, with the United States having to abstain, there's 2 countries, the United Kingdom and France, that are obviously going to support the United States unless they have been heavily and convincingly lobbied to either abstain from the vote or to vote positively for the invocation of Article 6. Otherwise, you have Russia and China. So we are pushing for the invocation of Article 6.
We'd have to flip France. We'd have to flip France. But maybe we could say that, hey, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'll leave it alone. I was going to say you got to give them English wine instead of French wine and watch them lose their minds. But, you know, they'll probably drink that shit.
6 at the United Nations against the U.S. However, we are realistically viewing this more as a way to launch a discussion about the way the United Nations works and the way the Security Council works and the way the veto power works, basically questioning the integrity of the United Nations system as a whole and getting a discussion to take place that otherwise is not happening. Pushing for something like this also goes in line with what the BRICS countries and the Global South countries are already doing, which is essentially trying to create a parallel system of international relations that is being overseen by the BRICS organization of countries, and it's growing. As we know, BRICS is growing in its membership quite rapidly, and every time they expand their membership, they increase their resources and assets by orders of magnitude. So I believe that if a vote for invocation of Article 6 were to be only done by the General Assembly, I think it's a given what the outcome would be. I think that 150 something other countries are tired of having no actual say in what happens at the United Nations or what the decisions are at the United Nations, and they're tired of being vetoed by the United States. And I think that it's also the perfect time for this because precisely because of the situation in Gaza, because we're seeing now the United States is the only reason why a ceasefire is being prevented by vetoing calls for a ceasefire. And we can tie that back into the fact that every year, annually, the United Nations holds what amounts to a symbolic vote calling for the return of Israel to the 1967 borders, the establishment of a Palestinian state, the right of return of refugees, the end of illegal settlement expansion, and so on. And every time they make that vote, the United States votes against it. So we can say honestly that the entire problem, the Israel-Palestine conflict, has been kept alive by the exclusion of the international community, the actual global international community, and not just what the West.
I like how you're thinking, Black Free Thinker. Here's the problem. France is in trouble right now. The UN, the rest of the nations in the UN can flip them. I mean, look, France tried to get in the BRICS. I think that should tell you that they're flippable. They literally hosted BRICS nation leaders before the Olympics, months before the Olympics. They tried to get in. I think they could be flipped. Plus, we know France is France. You know, they a little fickle. Right, Cassie, on the Security Council, they can't pull that bullshit in the general, especially if you got everybody against you. You can't pull that. They're gonna look at them. All they have to do is say Article 6. That's all they gotta say. If they get the majority, it's over. They're gonna have to stand for it. That's why I said this is out of the box thinking. See how you all are asking questions? This is why. We got to come up with new solutions. Yes. Yes. This is what France is so desperate right now. It's not even funny. You got to ask questions. This is like I said, this is a hypothesis stream. We got to come up with a way to get y'all money, because I need that legislation. I got to go get my money. So we got to figure out every way possible we can get something that's going to compel Congress to get a vote. But, let's continue.
Regards as the international community, which is just themselves. So, and with the United States, of course, as the leader of determining who is and who isn't part of the international community. And it excludes basically all of the nations of the world from having any say, particularly also with the current International Criminal Court proceedings on the genocide and the decision that who knows when that will come about. But the point is, it has been made. The point is that now Israel has been accused and evidence has been put on record to verify and to confirm that they are guilty of genocide, and they're being supported by the United States. And any effort to prevent the genocide is being overruled by the United States, sitting on the UN Security Council. So we have a very strong basis for bringing this case and for raising this call for the invocation of Article 6. What we're essentially really pushing for is a reform of the United Nations and the way it works, because obviously the United States is going to object to it being expelled from the UN, and this will make potentially, inshallah, this will cause considerable scrutiny over why we've made the call in the first place. In other words, the entire record of United States violations of the UN Charter will be called into question and brought to the light of day, whereas now they are put in shadows. So that's the basic campaign. We're starting, inshallah.
By the way, for those who think that the UN don't know that there was still slavery going on in this country past 1865, you a damn lie. The UN know everything. In this age of information being passed off, they know exactly. They know they were still slaves in the 70s. They know that. That's a violation. Okay. Let me say it like this. They understand what your plight is. They're just waiting for y'all to come to them. But I understand you want to do it at home. You don't want to involve the world, because then maybe you're thinking the world gonna want a piece of the action. So I understand that, but even if y'all got it that far, they're gonna have to be like, oh shit, you know what? Let's go talk. Let's sit down and rap. What's the price tag? Because the last thing the U.S. wants is the UN to compel them. What happened to Johnny Cochran? That's all I'm gonna say. Well, that didn't help their case if they ever try to go back. Because remember, France was so decimated during the scamdemic, they tried to use BRICS to get in, and that would compel them to leave NATO. They'd have to leave NATO. They're not doing that. That would have hurt them with the European Union. And then let's just say BRICS said no, or they put them in there. France is going to be a low member. But I don't know. Again, hypothesis stream. Hypothesis. We're going to explore everything. Now again, they've been talking about this since the mid 2010s. I mean, they're sitting there in the UN saying African and Caribbean countries need to get paid. Y'all have heard me on this show many times say the reason why they don't want to give y'all reparations is because you would become your own nation in their borders. They can't have that. Now, Mr. Bolson also said that you guys should become your own nation or think of yourselves as a nation and go to the UN like that. Go as a delegation. I'm sure y'all can get an audience if you get the right names up there. I'm sure y'all can get an audience. They'd listen. I mean, they're sitting there advocating for you in there. They're saying Western countries need to address their roles in the transatlantic slave trade. They need to address their doings in Africa, even though the whole world's watching them do it, but not saying a word. But I think they're waiting for people on that. They're waiting for these African nations to do it. Notice where the UN peacekeepers that are going to Congo. Well, my brother's keeper, sometimes sometimes the greatest nations have to start off very small. You guys have created something. You guys have created a legacy. You guys have created a culture that everybody's imitating. You got to use that now in the political sphere. You've done it in the terms of the media's following your example. Now you got to flex your legislative power. Y'all gonna have to go to the UN. Y'all gonna have to figure out who can talk for you, and you're gonna have to craft a letter saying you want an audience in front of the General Assembly and make your case. I think y'all done it before, but now in this age, you got stronger speakers. You have more people that are recognizable. You've got bigger voices. You got to do that. And trust, if y'all can get that audience, over here in New Black Media, we'll all be streaming it because that'll be historic and that'll scare the hell out of these politicians. Which is why I also said, we got to clear the cupboards November 5th. Everybody got to go. Because we already know in Congress, they're going to go call up their lobbyists up there and tell them don't even entertain it. They're going to start making backhanded deals to silence y'all's voices. Can't have that. Now y'all going to have to vice grip the U.S. I mean, I just put in UN reparations. Look at all these videos from the UN. They've been on this 8 years ago. They've been on this. Like I said, they're just waiting for y'all to stand in front of them. But again, that's also going to require the correct voices. It can't be no black and brown. It can't be African American. It's got to be Black American descendants of chattel slavery. The Caribbean and the Africans, we're going to have to do our own. We'll do it the next day or the next week. We'll make that week y'all's week. We'll do it the next week or the next month. Look, they're telling Russia to go pay reparations to Ukraine. But, who knows? It could happen. 2025 hasn't even started yet. That's fine. Hey, you guys can go up there designated as freemen. That's on y'all. Y'all got to figure that out. I'm just giving y'all a path and just say, hey, maybe try that way. I mean, there's options. So, it is what it is. Because we know why y'all need this. We got young women being beaten for doing their job. We have men and women are getting their organs taken without permission. You have GENSA policies here in the US that are disproportionately targeting Black communities. And everybody's seeing it, but don't want to say nothing. Now they want to say something because now them gender policies are showing up in front of them. You have politicians that look like us ain't doing nothing. Hell, Chicago should stand up as a city and go in front of the UN and go take Mr. Johnson to task. He allowed an invasion in his city. Eric Adams too. But again, like I said, this broadcast was just thinking outside the box. They love putting black faces, but they want to talk about people. Look, these are oppressed people. It wouldn't even be like this. They just got it right the first time. But they know they scared. Any one of these kids or any one of y'all's kids could change the world for the better. They can't have that because then they would get no credit on it. Must be nice. I don't care. And I go up there and I dare him to do it with his fake Trinidadian ass. I go up there with the flag on. I dare him to do it. Punk ass traffic cop. He go somewhere. Sorry, not traffic cop, transit cop. Oh, you're trying to be Wesley Snipes in Money Train. Well, you better go sit down somewhere. Never trust somebody without facial hair. Yes, he got a Nobel Peace Prize. Correct. He got a Nobel Peace Prize just for getting elected. I wonder if they're going to do that with Command Me too. Hey, Kamala Harris, the first brown-skinned woman who came from a white background from Jamaica to become president of the United States. Here's your Nobel Peace Prize on January 19th, 2025. Casey, you don't remember that picture I showed of Eric Adams when he had facial hair? You don't remember that? We finna play. We finna show. It was the weirdest picture I've ever seen. And we were making jokes. We were like, "Yep, that's the face. That's the smile of a coon." Let me see if they still got it on. Maybe they scrubbed it. There it is. There we go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that mustache. A lot of mercy. He looked like Carl Winslow before he got the goatee. Y'all ain't never noticed that, family? The first like season of Family Matters, Carl just had the mustache like the first episode, and then all of a sudden he had a goatee, and he rocked that for the rest of the show until like the last season. That's who let them Venezuelans in. That's who let Jackson Heights get taken over by Asian prostitutes. That's the dude. That's the dude who told black folks to go sit down and let people in that are migrants into your home, and we give you money for it. That's the dude. Here's the one thing about it, William. You would have to, for the Security Council to have any sway, you would have to prove that that's a war crime. The only problem is I would say do it, but y'all got to find all the living relatives and victims of slavery. See, it was easy for the Japanese because they still had a lot of them alive. I don't even know how much y'all got. That would be healthy enough to go make that case. Cassie, but what I'm saying is they actually do have the power. They would have to get the United States to sit down, but they have the power. We just got to uncuff them, but you know, that's legal battles. I think the only way it's going to happen is if BRICS really becomes fully functional, because then they won't have to care about the billions that the US gives them. They already replace it. Well, I mean, he's got to start doing that now. He got to start changing himself because 26 is coming up. He's going to look to get reelected. So he's going to have to. You said the mustaches then? It kind of is. Lord of mercy. Well, yeah. Let's see. Now, this was 3 years ago. So this was at the rise of woke.
The status quo is untenable. Systemic racism needs a systemic response. We need a transformative approach that tackles the interconnected areas that drive racism and lead to repeated, wholly avoidable tragedies like the death of George Floyd. I'm calling on all states to stop denying and start dismantling racism, to end impunity and build trust, to listen to the voices of people of African descent, and to confront past legacies and deliver redress. We examine death at the hands of law enforcement officials in different countries with varying legal systems and found striking similarities and patterns. Several families described to me the agony they faced in pursuing truth, justice, and redress, and the distressing presumption that their loved ones somehow deserve it. It is disheartening that the system is not stepping up to support them. This must change. States must show a stronger political will to accelerate action for racial justice, redress, and equality through specific time-bound commitments to achieve results. This will involve reimagining policing and reforming the criminal justice system, which have consistently produced discriminatory outcomes for people of African descent. Only approaches that tackle both the endemic shortcomings in law enforcement and address systemic racism and the legacies it is built on will do justice to the memory of George Floyd.
Right. But y'all ain't do nothing because y'all could have just taken the US to task on that, but y'all let it ride. Okay.
People of African descent. Despite substantial changes since the end of the enforcement of Jim Crow and the fight for civil rights, ideology ensuring the domination of one group over another continues to negatively impact the civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights of African Americans today. The dangerous ideology of white supremacy inhibits social cohesion among the US population. Lynching was a form of racial terrorism that has contributed to a legacy of racial inequality that the US must address. Thousands of people of African descent were killed in violent public acts of racial control and domination, and the perpetrators were never held accountable. Contemporary police killings and the trauma it creates are reminiscent of the racial terror lynching of the past. Impunity for state violence has resulted in the current human rights crisis and must be addressed as a matter of urgency. Racial bias and disparities in the criminal justice system, mass incarceration, and the thought on crimes policy has disproportionately impacted African Americans. Mandatory minimum sentencing, disproportionate punishment of African Americans, including the death penalty, are of grave concern.
But again, y'all sat there and watched it happen. We got to get it right November 5th. Got to get it right. But, you know. So hopefully this is something you guys can chew on and hopefully come up with a solution. Or at least a way to figure this out. Oh, shit. What did I do? 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 That ain't what I want. That what I want. Okay. What is this? All right. So I'm not going to stay on here too long. I just wanted to bring that and maybe get y'all to start thinking about other avenues for this. Because I want to save my energy for tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're going to go back to the blue side. And you know what side that is. That is the check and the disrespect side. Because I'm going to have to go check Caribbeans again. Ironically, this week, because it was Labor Day, they got to go check some Caribbeans. Because they out here talking greasy. But we understand. But hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I'm trying to be better next time. I'm going to go cook. I don't know what you're going to do today, but you should do something. So I will see y'all tomorrow morning. Y'all can go eat dinner or start dinner and get ready for Black Alpha. About to go in on Roland. You know what? Before we do that, since we did talk about it in the car, let's just talk about it here where we could do sound effects. I can't play here because of course there was that clip, but we all know what Roland did. Roland, why did you do that, sir? Why? By the way, the US ain't gonna stop what they're doing in regard to Hamas because of this. Anyway, we got that out the way. Roland, why did you do what you did, sir? Why were you looking at Naked Men's? Why did you have Naked Island UK up? Why did you have that up? Do you have Paramount Plus, sir? Why? That was nasty. You didn't even have it on the check. You had it on the black man. Okay, Isaac Hayes got his injunction against Trump. Wonderful. Let's see what that rolling discourse looks like. Because y'all out of line. Bruh, that last picture was wild. Can't play that. Can't play that. Let's see. Oh, Roland responded. Look. He said to Angela Stanton King, who posted it, nice try, Angela. Anyone with brains knows that when you roll clips on the iPad, it automatically jumps to another clip. You have no idea what plays next. The day before we played a clip and a bikini model came up. You were really and truly a pathetic individual. So you admitted. So what were you searching for? Let's ask that question. What? Yes, that show, it's called Naked Island UK, and it's one of them love reality shows like The Bachelorette, but it's on Paramount Plus. It's a streaming app. That's where a lot of the CBS shows are. Like, what is it? They got Frasier over there. They got MacGyver over there. Anything that was under the CBS banner is over there. But yeah, they have that show on there. So, Roland, what were you searching for that came up? Because he basically just admitted it. Go ahead and look at the previous shows, Angela. You'll see we roll clips at the time direct on the iPad. It automatically plays anything next. You could turn that off, but you won't because you are pathetic like that. By the way, we'll keep rolling clips and it may happen again, unbothered. What were you searching for that would just come up? Because you got that from Twitter. We can tell by the way the clip was set up. You got that from Twitter. So what were you searching for? Because I look for a lot of things on Twitter and that's never come up. So what were you looking for? He said next then, to all the folks who only read the top part of this bill, y'all really need to read the rest. Why? Because the impetus of the bill was a tax on Asian Americans. Yet the law applies to all hate crimes. All you got to do is keep reading. Don't be a simpleton. Now, he's talking about the C-19 hate crimes bill, which I keep, because people kept regurgitating and say, oh, Roland, you're right. I'm like, so I need someone to explain to me what part of that bill can we use? If something happened to us, can we invoke the C-19 bill? No. Cool. You still think so? Cool. Then that would mean that 49.5 million that they got, them Asians, where's our cut? Since we can use it, we should be entitled to that money. We should be entitled to the task force that was assigned, right? Somalis against Pan-Africanism said that doesn't happen on my iPad, sir. It happened on yours because you are a rainbow. That don't happen on my iPad. Laugh at my balls. I think she wrote that wrong, but you know. Literally never happens unless you got a setup or we're watching or something similar previously busted. That was a bare ass man fed to you by what you watched. The algorithm just bit you. The real case of cover your ass, laugh out loud, no pun intended. Unbothered by the pussy in front of him, he keeps rolling. Pause. Rolling.
You say what we say at all. So you're right. When you're sitting opposite of Scott Jennings, you got to jump in his ass.
Pause. Pause. I'm leaving. I'm leaving, sir. No. Cassie, no, you did not just say taste the rainbow.
I'm not doing this.
I need one. My makeup.
I'm out. I'm out. Nah, we're not doing this today. I'm out. Y'all got it. I'm leaving. You see, I'm over here. I'm just giving y'all the news that here y'all go. Why? It's always Cassie. It's always Cassie.
You can't get in it.
All right. You guys just all walk backwards while people are walking fucking forward.
Oh boy. Y'all out of line. I love y'all, but y'all out of line. You know you was wrong for that. I saw it. I saw it, Mr. Chris. I downloaded it. I'll check it out later. But yeah, Roland. After what just happened to you, I would be. Ooh, did the stock market crash? Let's see. Just announced, despite America's painfully short memory, Trump was horrible on the economy. Wonderful. Who cares? He's been gone for 4 years. Anyway. What? You liquidated your entire portfolio and put in Donald Trump stock? What? Why would you do that? That's dumb. Why would you do that? And he lost over almost $50 per share. Why would you do that? Now watch, he gonna ask for reparations. DOJ is manipulating the stock market. No kidding. Who was here when I did the live on Saturday and I was telling old boy about crypto, talking about he got in his own wallet and the US don't know nothing about it. Yeah, okay. Okay. All of a sudden, like I said, the MSNBC starts putting out the price of Bitcoin, but they say crypto is a whole scam. All right. Oh my God. But, you know, I just let him talk. I just let him talk. Ooh, look, all the markets are down. No, the global market did not crash. It just means everybody was down. Because if it was a crash, everybody and a mama would be outside. Blacklight, will you talk to them, please? Just because I don't dabble in crypto like some folk and use that as my livelihood don't mean I ain't looking. I'm always looking. That fool, yo, Rob, this fool tried to tell me, I want you to listen to this. He told me that the US can't get access to his wallet key. This is what he told me. He got his money, he bought his farm, and the US, they can't touch his crypto. I said, what? You did it on the internet, correct? They know exactly what your key is. By the way, I hope none of y'all did that Chase hack. Well, glitch, I should call it. I hope none of y'all did that. And if you did, you better go figure out, get a second, third, fourth, and 17th job to go make sure you can pay that overdraft. I should show y'all that video before we go. I should. Let's laugh. Let's laugh a little bit. Let's laugh a little bit. There it is. Now this has got to be a lie. Now this got to be a lie. If that's true, that baby, come here for a second. I think this is a rib. But if this is true, I'm laughing all day. There ain't no way in the world. I think this is a rib. But look, I think that's a rib.
It's probably fake.
I only asked because they got this here. But like how? You might as well die. You still got to pay.
You want me to use some of the money? It's not 999999999.
How did you overdraft yourself $99 billion? There's countries that don't even have that. Oh, so right. Bruh. Hey, Rob, this might be a good show for you, brother. This might be a good stream right here. If he wrote his private key on paper, again, I understand what you're saying, Black Bitcoin Key. He still used money that was his to buy it. The US has a back door into it. No, what happened was there was a glitch with Chase that you could take out money any amount that you wanted. But when they figured it out, they just overdrafted everybody and put a hold on their account. Like they were doing check kiting. Like, what are y'all doing?
On the scene now to an unfolding social media nightmare. Some TikTok videos might have tripped.
Hey, y'all motherfucker outside yelling at folk not to ban TikTok. You just gave the US government a major reason why. You fools. I should even show y'all what they were doing with chroming. Y'all are dumb.
Trick some people into committing check fraud. One user describing it as a trick to the system, but it's actually a scheme, and Chase Bank is calling it a crime. Our national correspondent Clayton Sandell live in Denver. And Clayton, what did these TikTokers fall for this time?
Hey, Del, good afternoon. Well, you know the old saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch, or it turns out free cash from an ATM. But over the weekend, a number of videos popped up on TikTok and even X claiming there was a free money glitch involving Chase Bank ATMs. Basically, it said if you deposited a fake check into your account for any amount, you could get a portion of that deposit back in cash immediately. Now, even though some on TikTok were calling this a glitch, it's actually something that a lot of banks have the discretion of doing, according to the FDIC's, which is basically allowing access to part of your deposit until the check is verified and cleared. So it's not a glitch, but it is a crime. In a statement, Chase tells Scripps News, "We are aware of this incident and it has been addressed. Regardless of what you see online, depositing a fraudulent check and withdrawing the funds from your account is fraud, plain and simple." Now, some TikTok users who were apparently trying this scheme were posting videos after the fact showing their accounts either frozen or with negative balances, in some cases for tens of thousands of dollars. Hard to say just how widespread this became or how much money was involved. Chase hasn't given us any numbers. And it's still not clear yet, Del, if Chase will pursue criminal charges.
Let's answer that. Would y'all like to answer that?
Yes. Yes.
Because you could lose the paper. Anything could happen.
Yeah, P.T. Barnum had another way of describing it. He used the word lollipop, I believe it was, maybe a different phrase, saying one was born every minute. But we'll leave it at that. Clayton Sandell for us live in
Can't say
Denver.
that on
Clayton,
TV.
thank
It's
you very
never
much.
born every minute.
And joining us now is Ted Jenkins. He is the president of Exit Stage Left Advisors. Ted, this seems to be proof. There really is no such thing as a free lunch.
I mean, come on, Del. Why is the bank giving away free money? Like you mentioned, maybe they give away free lollipops, but certainly not free money. And anybody
only in a class action lawsuit
who tried to deposit one of those checks can get back money. And if it was a fake check, yes, they are committing check fraud. It's also why you need to be very careful about getting your financial advice from social media platforms and places like TikTok, because those people may not be licensed. They may not be regulated. In this case, they might actually help you go to jail.
You know, Ted, you actually talked about why people might be doing this. You maintain that tough economic times, excuse me,
oh Lord,
make us all vulnerable to schemes like this.
Yeah, Del, I mean, I think this is just the nature of where a lot of Americans are financially. When people are under a lot of mental stress and financial stress, they tend to make poor financial decisions. When consumers find themselves in desperate situations and they have no money, they often look for get rich quick schemes. And that's why, look, the lottery is real, but a lot of people play the lottery because they're looking for that overnight millionaire hit. But in this case, they see something online. It sounds like they're going to get some free money. And especially when you're desperate to pay your rent or your bills, yes, you might fall for these schemes.
Ted, there is a debate over free speech on all these platforms. Is this an example as to why these platforms themselves need to do more to police what really fits into the category of misinformation?
Yeah, certainly, Del, there's a responsibility here, especially when it comes to people's financial situation, not only protect themselves against misinformation, but also disinformation. And when the public is looking at this, anytime that you're pressured to recruit a lot of people, that's going to give you a lot of rewards. That's when it might be a pyramid scheme or some type of multi-level marketing scheme. And I would always go to the source. If Chase had it on their website and said you were getting free money, then you're probably getting free money. But if you called the 800 number, they would say, yeah, you're committing check fraud. So try to go to the website, try to go to the source. Be very careful about what information you give over the internet.
Should we assume, and I hate to use the phrase because I know what you're getting ready to do when I use the phrase assume, but should we assume that perhaps there might be a kinder, gentler soul at Chase that says, you know, you got your information from TikTok. Let's just let bygones be bygones.
What? You think Jamie Dimon is going to say, let's bygones be bygones?
And why should I care?
That boy, man, that man finna send you a handwritten letter talking about something.
Get to work!
The fuck? Yo, you gotta love them. You gotta love people. What? Bygones be bygones.
I sure hope so, Dell. You know, if this is the first time you ever did anything like that, you
What?
can chalk it up for saying that you made a legitimate mistake, that you saw it on social media, that you thought it was something real. But every day in America, whether it's in the cyber crime or crimes like this, there are people looking to get free money that is illegitimate money, and that hurts the rest of us. It makes fees go up at banks like JP Morgan Chase that have to pay for these mistakes, right? Someone's going to have to pay for it. It ends up being us, the consumer, with more fees or a lower interest rate.
Ted Jenkins is the president of Exit Stage. On the scene now.
Oh, shut up. Dummies. Yeah, all right. Oh, man. Hey, Jamie Dimon said, they really want Jamie Dimon to say, listen, oh, you saw it on TikTok? Yeah, all right. I mean, you're allowed one. Right. Right.
Okay. You did it though. You, okay, that was you though. I didn't do nothing. I heard it. They heard it too. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what they expected, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna go cook. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. I just want to bring y'all a little bit of upliftment and laugh at somebody else. So y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Wait around. Yep. Smart. Yeet and get out.
Time's up. But did we have a good time here? Hello?
At the end of the day gotta end.
Get your money up, not your funny up. Big fucking move.
That's it.